It wasn't supposed to be this way. Another night wandering through the house, my heart expecting or hoping beyond reason that maybe it was just a very bad dream. A horrific nightmare that I am still trying to wake up from. That hope, if I check one more time, that I will find him there and his big arms can wrap around me and calm my fretful heart like he always did. But this is my reality now. This is what comes after my deepest fears are realized in excruciating perfection. This is what comes after my worst day ever. The day I lost my husband, my high school sweetheart, and my best friend of 30 years in a single blow. This is not some fictitious tale or fantastic fable. This is my real life, despite the fact that I choose to use a 3D representation for myself. According to my phone, it's been close to 25 days since I woke up only after being asleep for a couple hours. 25 days since the ragged choking breathing alerted me that something was very, very wrong. 25 days since I screamed his name at the top of my lungs, shocking even myself at the heartbroken terror ripping out of my throat. 25 days since I called 911 less than 3 minutes after I woke up because I couldn't help my husband anymore. 25 days since I sat there answering the police officer's questions while my mother-in-law was listening over the phone. Has it really only been 25 days? I would have sworn it was just yesterday. In that moment that I stop and think, trying to remember the steps that came after that. Multiple days in the ICU, a litany of calls from multiple doctors. Day after day, my heart being in limbo, not knowing if he would be okay, while the doctors kindly let me know that things did not look good. 4 or 5 days later, we heard the final test results, only confirming what I knew in the moment of my blood-curdling scream. The part of the brain that contained everything that made my husband uniquely himself had died from lack of oxygen. His body was still surviving with life support, but the man I knew and loved was no longer there. Until death do us part was now my reality. 45 years old, and I'm now shackled with the title of widow. It feels so wrong. I always suspected that I'd have a life after him, but honestly, I thought we had another 20 years at the soonest. Instead, he was taken from me by a rare heart condition we didn't even know he had. In a mere 2 hours, my life had changed forever. The man that I had loved since being a sophomore in high school was no longer there. Even now, I almost keep expecting him to be home at any minute, as if he is just out grocery shopping or something. He has always come home, always. But the papers I have say otherwise. From the condolence cards to the letters from the organ donor organization to the very final death certificate. Yet the heart doesn't process life the same. Grief, in its unique form of chaos, creates a numbing cocoon around my thoughts and emotions, like I'm surrounded by fluffy sheep whose wool stifles sounds and everything. But how can he be gone? His socks are still in the laundry. His laptop is still where he left it. There are the seeds we set apart that he was really looking forward to planting in the spring. I still need him. I'm constantly thinking of things that I need to remember to tell him. He really wanted to go hiking with his mom once winter had passed. He probably needed to remember to tell his sister something, because talking with her meant he could tease her one more time. We hadn't even watched Emmett Otter's jug band Christmas yet this year, singing at the top of our lungs in abandon, or watched the Nutcracker Ballet, where he would mention when his sister was in a version as a kid, and how the rats looked like potatoes. Or watching the Boris Karloff Grinch for the umpteenth time, and him reveling in every Grinchy moment of it. He was supposed to be here. When my first Vtuber video went up, and tell me how proud of me he was, with his face beaming. He could finally see that his encouragement and support over the last 2 years had finally paid off, and I had researched enough and managed to gain the confidence to simply do it. My first video wasn't supposed to be without him. I'm still scrambling to figure out what my life is anymore, as I cling to those who care for me until I can start to find the ground beneath my feet, hoping this free fall will end. It was supposed to be a video where he would be so thrilled to see what new thing I'd be doing. He was always fascinated by all the creative and artistic endeavors I pursued. But now, I'm just trying to think of simple projects that someone might like, but are simple enough for me to tackle while sorting through over 24 years of our life together, forcing me to decide what things of his that I'm going to keep. Every step of the way, being reminded that he is no longer here to make memories with. Grappling with the knowledge that any memories now are without him. How do I even do this without my best friend? I barely feel like I know who I am without him. opinionated, colorblind, ham-fisted, and liking the most atrocious things sometimes. I have spent decades trying to grasp the world from his perspective, reformulating how I view colors as an artist to simply try and understand how he could see the world so I could share with him the visual data with minimal loss of information. I've come to learn that the world really is not built for left-handed people and can present distinct disadvantages. He was a bit too strong and less coordinated than I would have liked. But I learned and adapted to the reality that things in the house had to be sturdy to prevent them from being broken. It hurts in some ways having to realize that his massive love of books is something that will be severely pared down. I'm dyslexic, and my ability to focus on reading a book has really decreased over time, and I'd much rather have audiobooks so I can simply listen to the information while I multitask. This house has so many hopes and dreams within it. Some have long since been put to the side, but so many more that we had hoped to achieve. But now, every last memory needs to be sorted through, with everything being stored, given to family, or donated. This house that I thought I'd live the rest of my life in. The same house where he had lived since he was 2 years old. But it's too big for me. It's more than I can manage. It was intended to be a family home. But now it's just me and our 2 cats. It feels cavernous. Especially since the last 6 years, I have been practically bedridden. This house is way beyond what I have the limited ability to maintain. The reality of moving is not a matter of if, but a matter of when. The last few days, I have been trying to wrap my mind around how I could even decorate my own apartment. I'm not a stranger to apartments, as I mostly grew up in them. But this is the first time in my life that I've lived alone. I was married before I could legally drink, and went from my mom's home to my husband's childhood home. Everything just seems so backwards. I'm encountering things for the first time that most people do when they are 18 or 19, not 45. I know when I was a teenager, I used to dream about being able to pick out my first set of dishes based only on what I wanted. Pick out curtains based on what I thought was cute and not by how durable it was. It is surreal to me that I have decades of sewing and crafting experience, but I have almost been at a loss over how I would even start to decorate my own home. I had to start writing a list just to kickstart my brain because of how foreign the mere thought of it is. And a lot of that also reflects on what my channel will be now. Shortly before my husband passed, I've had a rare thought cross my mind of how 2024 should be the year of finished projects for me. It was not prompted by anything, and I'm certainly not the type of person to make New Year's resolutions, because I see how often they fail. But I am aware of my extremely bad habit of not finishing projects, due to the very likelihood that I have ADHD. Think about that idea now might help me to work through and understand what I want my new apartment to look like. I have no idea when that will happen, what it will look like, or even how much space I'll have. But staying here where I am is just not an option. For one, there's just too many memories here. I can't pretend like nothing has changed. He was very well aware of how strong of a person I am emotionally, even if my body isn't. Even with the hell that my body has put me through the last 6 years, I have still continued to be happy and a positive person. I miss him more than I can even imagine. But I know he would want me to be happy. My happiness was always the most important to him. I may have to keep moving on in life, but it doesn't mean I'm leaving him behind. I want to continue to have him be proud of me. The singular thing I feared the most in life has already happened. So what do I have to be afraid of now? It wasn't supposed to be this way. But this is my life now. I'd be delighted if for even a while you chose to walk this journey with me. Oh, by the way, I'm Robin Readwood. I'll see you soon, my fireflies and flutterbys.